Man, do I hate politics. But what I hate even more is paying off student loans. However, I did love college and playing those fun drinking games with something we're all familiar with. Oh, red Solo cups. But after years of all-nighters and dorm room parties, there are tens of millions of people drowning in debt. Not because of the copious amounts of alcohol purchased throughout college, but because of tuition costs that just keep on going up. And you wonder why college kids like to drink and party. Anyway, let's take a look at the numbers. Let's say one of these red Solo cups represents $2,000. According to College Board, during the 1978-1979 school year, it cost just below $18,000 a year to attend a private college and about $10,000 less of that to attend a public college. But 30 years later, during the 2008-2009 school year, tuition costs skyrocketed to more than $38,000 for a private school and more than $16,000 at public colleges. And today, tuition has jumped up 25% for private schools and 30% for public colleges. That's nearly triple the price over the last 40 years. Now, here's another way to look at it. If our parents paid $6 for a 72-pack of these red Solo cups when they were in school, that would be equivalent to us paying $18 for these 2 packs today. That's a lot of money for a college kid, especially if all you have to rely on is a work-study job. And if you think I'm being a bit dramatic, even the former head of the Federal Student Loan Office is concerned.
We are putting a burden on the backs of students, parent borrowers, even grandparent borrowers, that's going to ride with them for decades.
You're behind the 8 ball before you start. And yet, typically, students who take loans do not have access to critical information about what career outcomes they can expect from their programs, majors, or fields of study. They borrow more money than they can ever expect to pay off or pay back.
Right now, student loan debt in the U.S. is estimated at more than $1.5 trillion. That's trillion with a T, with the average person drowning in about $30,000 of debt. And although salaries have increased over the years, it's not nearly enough to keep up with tuition inflation. In fact, according to the Pew Research Center, because of lagging wage power, today's average wage has about the same purchasing power as it did 40 years ago. So in other words, tuition is kicking our butt like a bad game of beer pong. So what now? Well, the election is coming up, so this student loan crisis will definitely be in the hands of our next president. And while it's not up to me to tell you who's the better candidate between Joe Biden and President Trump, what I can do is break down what each of them is bringing to the table. Starting with the incumbent, President Trump, who's actually had a mixed bag of initiatives.
The debt of these disabled veterans will be entirely erased. It'll be gone. To sleep well tonight.
This is one of the president's more notable moves. In August 2019, he signed a memorandum to automatically cancel student debt for disabled veterans. The president said doing so would eventually allow thousands of veterans to live debt-free. Meanwhile, in his first budget request to Congress, he proposed major changes to the federal student loan program, including reforms to the income-based repayment, or IBR program, and the interest-free benefit on some loans for undergrads. He's also attempted to eliminate the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, which allows government workers, Native American tribal employees, and nonprofit workers to earn forgiveness of their student debt after so many years of service. So far, Congress has not approved. But not all of the president's proposals have been unpopular. His executive order that suspends federal student loan interest and payments until the end of 2020 has been applauded from both parties. And because of the pandemic, the president says he's prepared to extend that executive order into next year if necessary. I'll drink to that. But let's face it, what happens in 2021 will have a lot to do with who is in the Oval Office. And if it's not President Trump, then it's Joe Biden. So let's take a look at his agenda. Some promises from the Biden campaign include free college. If you attend a public college or university, tuition would be free for 4 years if your family has an income below $125,000. Grants will cover up to 2 years tuition at private historically black colleges and universities and tribal schools as well. And if you attend a community college, tuition would be free for 2 years if you didn't previously pursue a post-secondary degree. Biden also supports forgiving $10,000 for all federal student loan borrowers as a COVID-19 relief. $10,000 of your debt would be automatically canceled for each year you perform eligible service, up to 5 years total. Now, it wouldn't replace the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, and instead, Biden would rework that by qualifying more federal loans and repayment options. Half of your balance would also be forgiven after 5 years. Yep, that was a lot, and I know what you're thinking. Who's gonna pay for all this? Well, in 2019, the Biden campaign said that these initiatives would be paid for over 10 years by making sure the, quote, super wealthy pulled their weight in part by limiting how many itemized deductions they can claim on their taxes. But the Biden campaign website today no longer says that. Now, there are a ton more proposals from the Biden campaign, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see who wins come November. And yes, I do hate politics, but there's no reason for you not to go out and vote, because I mean, how else are we gonna get rid of some of the student debt and get rid of all these drinks? I guess I better start now. Cheers. Whew. Don't worry, it was just apple juice.